Yes, people, welcome back to the 1894 for Atletico Madrid versus Manchester City, second leg of the Champions League quarter-final preview. It's a big one. Let's get into our thoughts. Right, Luke, we go to the Wanda Metropolitano, I hope I pronounced that right, stadium in Madrid for the second leg of our Champions League quarterfinal. Like I said, we go over there with a 1-0 lead. Now we know, after watching last week's game, it was probably the toughest watch I've had all season. Now, City have had some pretty tough games where we've lost and drawn and dropped points, but they're still better spectacles than the football Atletico Madrid played in the Etihad last week. We knew that they would play similar to that, or at least like that in the Etihad, and maybe expect them to be a bit more outlandish in their own stadium. But I don't know. I think Simeone likes to stick to his guns. What are you expecting from this game, and how are you feeling going into it? It's high stakes.
Yeah, I'm feeling about the same as I did last week, really, because I knew it was going to be difficult last week. I knew we'd win, but I said 1-0 was kind of expected. You know, it wasn't going to be a high-scoring game unless Atletico went literally collapsed. But going to this week's game, I'm the same feeling. I think Atletico will. Obviously, they have to attack more this game because obviously they want to go through. They really need to, obviously get a goal at least. Team take extra time. So I expect a few more attacks than usual, but it'll probably be the same kind of system, I imagine. Because I know their fans probably won't want them to defend like they did against us at the Etihad. But I think Simeone knows that if they go head to head against us, we'll batter them like two or three.
I think. I think the main thing here, Luke, is that we just don't concede first. I think if we score first, I think it's over. I would fully back us to hold out and not concede two, and dare I say it, definitely not concede three. Like, I was just looking at Atletico's results recently. They're off the back of two losses. They lost to us, and then they lost away to Mallorca on the weekend. Now, that is not a great result for Atletico to be losing to Mallorca, even away from home. They had their strongest team out. Granted, João Felix came off the bench, but Luis Suarez, Griezmann, Koke, Correa, all these kind of players you'd expect to be beating Mallorca. So I think as long as we score first or we hold out long enough, I think we will go through, and I expect us to score. I think we will possibly approach it differently, and I would expect us to score. But the thing is, on the flip side, if Atletico do score first, I think Simeone has absolutely no problem holding out with his 1-0 win, taking it to extra time, and hoping to just grind us down, hoping that we get tired constantly attacking and having no luck and getting frustrated. And I also believe he'd have no problem going to a penalty shootout. I don't think Atletico are going to come out all guns blazing tomorrow night.
No. I do agree with you there. I think it's gonna. I think I said there'll be more attacks from Atletico, obviously, because I know obviously the longer we hold them out, like I say, past half time, it's still 0-0. They'll have to go for it a bit more. So obviously we want to score first, but I don't mind us, frustrating them as well, making it annoying for them, because playing them at their own game will definitely help us. Obviously, if we score early, cool. Then we just go on for a normal game, but if we go into this game, maybe thinking like, all right, it's going to be very easy to score like last time, but try and make it a frustrating for them, then that's also good as well. But I think as long as we get that first goal, as you said, that's important.
There is massive pressure on this game. There really is. Having got to the Champions League final last May and not getting the job done there is massive pressure for us to get past Atletico. Then there's going to be a big task if we get there in either what's looking like Real Madrid, and then you have the small matter of Bayern or Liverpool, because I don't think Benfica or Villarreal will go through. No disrespect to them, I expect Munich to do the job over there. But this is a massive game for us, and it's a must win. I think we will need to score. I think Atletico will press a little bit higher up the pitch and try to get a goal because they need one, or else they're out. As it stands, Atletico are going out. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think the best conversation we will have is probably with our team selection, because it's going to be interesting, bearing in mind we've just had the massive game against Liverpool on the weekend, and we have another massive game against Liverpool coming up this weekend. So let's get over to our predicted starting 11 and see who we chose. Okay, we're going to pop up our predicted starting 11 for our game against Atletico on screen now for you to see. Get down below in the comments and let us know your thoughts on our predicted starting 11. Would you pick anybody different? Is there anyone you want to see? Anyone you don't want to see? Let us know down below. We want to know all of your thoughts. In goals, I think there's no other person to choose other than the maniac himself. Ederson obviously had that moment of madness or craziness, whatever you want to call it, against Liverpool in the weekend, but he is the number one. I don't think he's going to be shit anytime soon. We've got the exact same back four that played against Liverpool in the weekend for this game. We think they did as good a job as they probably could have against Liverpool, considering the height of the opposition we were playing against, the dangerousness of their attack and threat. So Walker obviously did not play against Atletico last week. I think he should be relatively fresh. Obviously a tough game against Liverpool, but he should be fairly fresh because he had all of midweek off last week. Stones and Laporte did a good job last week, or sorry, not last week, but they did a good job against Liverpool on the weekend, and likewise with Cancelo. I have no issue with this back four. You could potentially see Ake play, but I think he will most likely definitely play in the FA Cup game against Liverpool.
Yep, I agree. I think the back four speaks for itself. I mean, obviously Walker could have been used against Atletico on that last week, but I think it probably would have been the same game anyway. It's still been the same frustrating 1-0 game, maybe 2-0 at a push, maybe. But as we all know, this will be a difficult game no matter what. But we still need our defense to be on point and make sure we don't have any kind of mistakes. Lovely, obviously, on Sunday, because I know we drew 2-2 and never really should have won. But both goals that we conceded in Liverpool were from mistakes that definitely could have been avoided another day. Now, I think Atletico will be all right. I think we'll keep a clean sheet, hopefully. But again, it's important to have that back four sustained. Obviously, we'll have Diaz coming back hopefully on Saturday or against Brighton next week, whether that happens. But I just hope that this back four can sort of sustain itself for the next couple of games. Maybe obviously with Ake coming in on the weekend. Just keep yourselves fresh, keep yourselves tight at the back, and just keep it simple.
Obviously, Ruben Diaz was pictured back in training with the squad today, so maybe he might feature for 15-20 minutes against Liverpool on the weekend, but I don't think he'll feature in this game. But the thing is, we have to bear in mind, whilst they did not set up to score goals last week at Atletico, they simply didn't. I'm not accepting any argument that they did. They do have attacking threats. They do have players that our defence is going to have to be wary of. Luis Suarez, obviously, he's probably past his peak, but we know that if he gets in the box and he gets a half chance, there's a very good chance he'll take it. Griezmann, a top quality player, granted not going through his best form this season with Atletico, but he's still a top quality player, World Cup winner for a reason. And then you've got players like De Paul. People are very, very excited over him. And Correa as well is another goal scorer. So it's going to be an interesting test for our defence. They probably won't ever have to endure wave after wave of attack, but when the attacks do come on, they're going to have to be alert. Moving to the midfield, we've gone with a pretty strong midfield and quite a balance of attributes. We've gone with Rodri as always. Fernandinho may come on late in the game if we are trying to just hold on to a lead or hold on to whatever the game result is that is happening suits us. You could see Fernandinho come on just to solidify that defence and add a bit of experience into the team. We've gone with Bernardo and Gundo, a balance of pace and composure, I believe. Bernardo's energy in the midfield will be absolutely huge because Atletico, we know, played that really compact, almost 5-5-0 formation, and to break that down, you're going to need Bernardo's energy, Bernardo's pace to run around them and tire them out, as well as Gundo's technical ability and composure to pick out good balls and to dictate and control the flow of the game. I think it's a strong midfield we've gone with, and I would like to see this from Pep Guardiola.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think this is also probably our most balanced midfield, I think. I know obviously we have KDB, when he's obviously on form right now, our best player, but the three midfield there are very well together because it balances each other out. You've got Gundogan as like a composed box midfielder who can do a job if he needs to defend defensively, but also push forward and get in the box to score some goals, which obviously will be helpful. Especially we're trying to nick an away, maybe not an away goal, but nick a goal, try to make it 2-0, try and sort of settle the tie. So I think also Bernardo's energy is crucial with this game as it was on Sunday, just recently. So yeah, the midfield was perfectly fine. So Rodri's been playing well recently as well. So yeah, this is definitely a good midfield for tomorrow or Wednesday.
I don't think we saw the very best of Bernardo Silva against Liverpool on the weekend. I spoke about a bit in our review I did with Joe, but I think nevertheless what he always brings to the team, regardless of whether he's on top form, is absolutely essential to the way we like to play football. Pep wants the ball to be moved around fast. He wants good runners, and Bernardo is one of the best in the world at what he does. So I have no problem with Bernardo Silva playing in this midfield. And then the front three, we've gone with pretty much a completely different front three to what we saw against Liverpool on the weekend. We've gone with Grealish, who came on for about maybe 15 minutes on the weekend. He should be fresh. He played relatively well last time we saw him as well. De Bruyne was man of the match for us against Liverpool on the weekend. He is coming into form. He has found form, I believe, and it's just a matter of whether he can hold on to that form and be consistent. He's been consistently good now for 2 or 3 games, and I think he is really determined to get his hands on this Champions League trophy. He spoke about it in depth this season about, he said little comments and little quotes about how he really wants to win that Champions League, because he knows if he can be one of the figureheads in Manchester City winning their first Champions League, the statue's going up. The statue's going up at the Etihad because he will be is essentially cemented as one of, if not City's greatest player of all time, because that Champions League will take him a long way in that conversation. And then Mahrez, of course, is someone I would have preferred to have started on the weekend. I know people will come at me and say, well, Jesus scored a goal. I just trust Mahrez more. He's the top scorer for us this season for a reason. He's an absolute killer going forward, and I think he is also a big game player. He's got a great Champions League record, especially in the knockout stages. It's a no-brainer to play him in this game, especially when I do think we will need a goal just for a bit of a comfort net. Luke, I think this is a pretty good front three. I think Grealish is still proving his point. He's still learning and developing. He's doing a good job at it, or as good as he can. And I think the other two are more than capable of getting us over the line.
I agree. I mean, Grealish for me has definitely got better recently. I mean, the last few months has definitely got better and better. Obviously, the goals and assist merchants will come out and say he hasn't done this, this, and that. But when you watch him, you're using your eye rather than using goals and assists and stats. He's playing really well and actually getting involved in the team more. You can see that he's starting to get that. As that comes, it will get more goals and more assists over time. So this is the kind of game where we need him playing, because it definitely win a lot of fouls. I think he won the most fouls off the bench last week. So, yeah, we need to rattle them a little bit to get them upset and angry, so we can get free kicks and maybe a few chances to get a couple goals to end the game. So this is the kind of player that we need in our team right now for this kind of game. And also De Bruyne and Mahrez are the two main men in the Champions League at the moment. De Bruyne obviously last week with that massive great goal against Atletico to pass that really rough defence. So yeah, the front three is perfect. Obviously Pep might play someone different, as we all know. Pep roulette, very random. But I think if his team does play on Wednesday, it'll get the job done.
I spoke about Grealish a little bit recently, because I've only really just realised what I was thinking myself, was that people who comment on Grealish's lack of goals and assists, yes, obviously you want your attacking players to contribute in the goal contributions, but Grealish doesn't actually. He plays a more unique role than any of our front three players. Grealish is very much told to drop deep, hover into the centre of the pitch even, and pick up the ball, hold up play, spread it around, and win fouls, because that's what he's great at doing. He won 5 against Atletico last week. They were flicking his hair, they were kicking the ankles off him, they were trying to rile him up. They clearly don't like Jack Grealish for one reason or another, and he could get into their heads. He could be a fantastic asset for us in affecting the concentration and the game plan that Simeone sets up for Atletico. So I think it's not only a smart decision playing him for keeping the ball moving, but also for his personality. I mean, a flashy player like Grealish, you know, South American tough defenders clearly won't like this guy, and he's a tough boy as well, Grealish, so I fully back him to do the job. But anyway, that is our predicted starting 11. I think it's the best one we could come up with for this game. I hope Pep goes with at least something similar, but you never know. Pep, like Luke said, Pep roulette, he could surprise us with anything. And I think this team is more than good enough to get us over the line and into the next stage. I think every single player in the squad will want to get to that Champions League final. The only player on the pitch that we have chosen that wasn't in that Champions League final last year is Grealish. So all these people know the hurt, they know the pain. Many of them were around for all the quarterfinals losses and the last 16 losses. They are hungry. They're probably more hungry for this than they are for the Premier League, dare I say it. So it's something I'm very confident in. I'm expecting a big performance. But before we wrap it up, the time has come to give your score prediction, Luke. I wanted to give you your score prediction as well as who you think might come up with a goal.
I'm going to go 2-0 City. I think it'll be like last week. Very scrappy, very, very, very cagey, but we'll definitely get a job done. I can see KDB getting another goal. I think he's on fire right now with goals, and I think it'll be a certain Jack Grealish who'll score on Wednesday. I think he'll finally get his second Champions League goal, I think second or third from when he's got a Champions League. But I think he'll score. I can see it now, and it'll shush the fans, I reckon.
So you're going with a 2-0 City and a Grealish goal. I think that'd be fantastic. You're like me. I predicted a Grealish goal every single week. This week is going to be absolutely no different. I'm going to keep predicting a Grealish goal every single game until I'm right and I can clip it up and say I backed him. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 City. I think what will happen is we will take a lead, we'll extend our lead, and Atletico will get one back, but they'll eventually lose the heads, and the floodgates will open, and it'll be a 3-1 City, 4-1 on aggregate. So 2-0 from Luke, 3-1 from me, and both of us are saying Jack Grealish will score. Come on, Jack, do the business for me. I've been backing you for weeks to score a goal. I need this to happen. I need this in my locker, and I have full faith in you. So get your score predictions down below in the comments. Give us what you think. Give us all of your thoughts in this game. It is massive. It's absolutely massive. On paper, we're a better team. We can do this. And it's time to finish the talk and go out and prove why we are the best team in Europe. Please leave a like in the video as well if you would. It helps us massively. Of course, subscribe if you're new as well. And we'll see you for a live watch-along. We're doing a live watch-along for this game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Come into the chat, give us your thoughts, have a bit of fun with us. And we'll hopefully see you then witnessing a City win. And we'll march on to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Good night and God bless.